Welcome back to You Live. We're here with Lily Richards from Unity Books. How are you, Lily? I haven't seen you for forever.
Forever.
I never do Mondays anymore. You thought I was avoiding you. I promise I wasn't. It's because Connor is greedy and he wants to take all of the good book reviews for himself.
I'm still kind of unconvinced.
I thought that was a really convincing spiel I just did there, but whatever, Lily. I worked on that really hard. Fine.
Whatever, to conceal your guilt.
It's true. It's true. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about a woman called Maira Kalman, whose blog you read.
Yes.
I sent it to you.
It was fantastic. You sent me a link, and we should really put that up later on. And it was fantastic.
New York Times. So it's kind of like Oprah describes, the book is of the blog, so it's a book of the blog. And Oprah, one of the world's best women,
best,
to be
I
born.
think maybe one. I think she got an award for best woman actually.
Is there an award for best
Yeah,
woman?
she knocked out Mother Teresa.
Really?
No.
She just be best person.
Yeah.
Best overall person. You.
I think she gave that award to herself.
She said that it's like a picture book for adults. Yeah, great.
That's a good way of describing it.
Yeah. She's an Israeli artist, Maira Kalman, and but she lives in the States, in New York, and she was commissioned to do this blog for the New York Times. And so she's done like illustrations, but she writes over the illustrations with bits of information that are a thread. The narrative's really interesting, because it's sort of like part memoir, part rambling, part history. So it's, and the non-fiction in there, the history, is all totally true. So you're gently learning.
It's really funny as well. I found lots of it. The one I read anyway was really funny. The one about George Washington.
She's quite ironic. I read a really good review of her blog that said that she was sort of an ironist, which I've never heard that term before.
I really liked her art is beautiful as well, and it's really folk arty, which I...
Did you think it looked a little bit like Picasso?
A little bit. Well, the colours definitely, but I mean, my mum really loves folk art, especially like American folk art.
There's a lot about your mother tonight.
I know, a lot about your mother is coming out. So it's, you know, it's weird. But yeah, it's I don't know, the art...
Folk art, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Should we, is it
time? Have a look.
There you go.
Definitely, it's...
So it's called, this one's called The Principles of Uncertainty. She's also done one which is called The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
And I think it's that one, that the blog that you saw. So this, can we go to an example of that? That's this beautiful woman in Scotland, and she's sitting there making fishing flies. Fishing flies? That sounds like a weird thing to say.
That sounds right.
Yeah, for the local fishermen, and she would make them these intricate little things that would just eventually get thrown into the sea and eaten. And she would spend all day doing it. So I think someone gave her a photo of that, and she's done a rendering of it. But it goes from there to like photos of Cecil Beaton's sister, and there's a lovely bit in here actually where she talks about her husband, who passed away in 1999, and she's talking about how he's buried in the grave next to the Gershwins, and this would make her terribly upset, but she prefers to think that he's in good company rather than getting maudlin. But I'll tell you more about her husband because he's a really interesting character.
Tell me.
Do you want me to tell you now?
Well,
I'd sort of time that so we could go to a break, have a music
you are
video.
so professional, Lily.
You're
even more professional. I know. I'm going to ruin that for you. Keep on talking. Keep on talking.
Should we just talk about your mother for a while?
Let's talk about my mother, actually. No, we'll talk about my mother in a video, Tim Lamborn. What do you want to go to? Going to go to a bit of...
Edward Sharp and Magnetic Series.
Very good song, Home. We'll be back with Lily right after this with her fantastic segue into something else.
came jumping out after me.
Well, you fell off the concrete in your little dress, and you were bleeding all over the place. I rushed you off to the hospital. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Well, there's something I never told you about that night.
What did you tell me?
Well, you were sitting in the back seat smoking a cigarette you thought was going to be your last. I was falling deep, deep in love with you. And I told you to just let me come home. Home is where I'm with you.
All right, that was a bit of home there. Edward Sharpe and Magnetic Zeros. We are looking at this book right here, The Principles of Uncertainty by Maira Kalman. Did you say Kalman?
I was saying Kalman.
Kalman.
I'll be right.
You sent me a link to her blog for the New York Times, was it?
Yeah.
New York Times, she did, and which were those were later published into books. This was a different one though, because that was the Pursuit of Happiness book.
Yeah. So this is a different blog. It's taken from a different blog.
Oh right, so she does them primarily in blogs and then kind of compiles them.
Yeah,
and
it began as blogs.
That's quite an interesting way of doing it, I feel.
Well, it's funny because it actually works incredibly well as a blog.
Yeah.
Visually, you would agree, right?
So, yeah.
It's and also because I think as a blog it comes to you in episodically, which is lovely.
Yeah, and it's
Rather than
easier,
just one book.
bite-sized pieces of a good book.
So her husband is super interesting. That wasn't even a segue, that was just changing the
was good.
topic
I liked
entirely.
Her husband was buried
Her
next to the
husband was a very
Gershwins.
interesting man.
Yeah.
And buried next to the Gershwins, you've got to be good. His name was Tibor Kalman. Yeah, this is the one that I was talking about with the buried next to the Gershwins.
There we go.
Gershwin.
The Gershwin.
The Gershwin. Tibor was, he started the design company M&Co in New York, which was hugely influential. And this is the part of my review which turns into a presentation.
I like it.
So M&Co did, I've seen that before, have you?
Yes.
That was him.
That was fantastic.
That was Tibor.
Classic image there.
This is another one that he did.
I like that one.
Very expensive chicken, but actually Calvin Klein, 7% body fat. Very nice.
Fresh young chicken.
So I can't actually remember where he's from, but he was foreign but lived in the States. And his philosophy, he was working in the advertising industry in the 80s, and his philosophy was just to turn everything on its head. But he saw America in a way that Americans just didn't, because they'd been looking at it for so long it didn't seem like anything at all.
Yeah.
So he could take really obvious things like an umbrella, like a chicken packet, and kind of skew the way that we view them, which is obviously what really good advertising and graphic design is.
Yeah.
But he was one of the first people to really do that, and he ended M&Co and started up, went to work for United Colours of Benetton and did the Colours magazine, and made that truly, truly famous. And that was where that photo came from. This is one of the campaigns he did where he played around with the idea of race and how we respond to people depending on what ethnicity they are. This is an example of one of them.
I think it's great.
Recognise her?
I can't recognise her.
Do you feel differently about it? Do
I
you
feel so
expect her
different.
less? Do you think she should be paid less?
I think she should be paid way
Or
less.
enslaved, maybe?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think we should.
That's amazing, actually. I love the subtle, even changing her nose as well. At first I was like, Lily, your printer is really, really broken.
Low on
low on
colours there.
cyan or something. That's awesome, though.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so, he was deeply influential, and they were a highly interesting, really, really in love couple. I just love the idea of these two people, like she's one part of the story, but he's the other, and I think it should come together.
Fantastic. Well, the Principles of Uncertainty, I assume that this will be available at the Unity
Yeah,
Books.
we now have a big pile there. It's a really
Fantastic.
good gift.
And you were saying, good for your mother, good for your old mother, eh? When's Mother's Day?
Good for your mother.
When's Mother's Day? Darn it! Oh goodness,
You could just make it every day Mother's Day.
No. But no, seriously, it's actually a really beautiful, beautiful book. And also, check out the blog as well if you want to have a quick look as well.
If you want to have a try before you buy, check out the blog.
Try before you buy. We'll put that up as a featured comment on the Facebook app. Thank you very much, Lily.
Pleasure.
For coming in. Lovely to see you again. And we're going to go to a break. Say goodbye.